Good morning, everybody. Happy Monday and welcome to the studio. I am here with my coffee. It's actually been a really good morning, very productive. I hope yours is going as well. But I am here to talk to you about everything that's going on in classes in the studio this week. And I just thought I need more coffee. That's what I think. Whatever. My name is Allison Jensen. Those of you who are new, and I am the owner of Orange Easel School of Art. And every week on Monday morning, I do a live video here on YouTube for all of our parents out there who have kids in the studio, either in Liberty or in Plattwoods, that are taking weekly classes. And this gives you a chance to see what we're learning and what we're doing. I realize that you get bombarded with information on what your kids are learning or doing. And so if you can't watch this video every week, I totally understand if it's just information overload, but it is always available for you to go back and reference. If nothing else, keep it for the housekeeping stuff, because that's at the back end, and that's really important in terms of registration and deadlines and all the things. So we're going to go through all the different types of classes and what we have going on, and then we'll get to the housekeeping in the back. If you're catching the replay, there are timestamps in the description of this video, and you can jump around and just watch what matters to you. Sound good? I have no idea what order my slideshow is in because I've gotten into the habit, very efficient, mind you, of making my slideshow on Thursday or Friday of the week before, my virtual slideshow. And so I don't really, it makes my Mondays better, but sometimes I don't remember what I did. So looks like we're starting with fundamentals. Surprise. So preschool fundamentals, these are the 90-minute morning classes that happen Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday at our two studios. And this is for that 3 to 5 age range. It's their introduction to an art class, and it is so magical. We do a little bit of everything. We incorporate art history. We incorporate some of the multimedia curriculum that our kids are doing. We incorporate some of the drawing curriculum that our kids are doing, our older kids. We incorporate a lot of play, a lot of like fine motor skills and gross motor skills, a lot of exploration, and some just mess and sensory as well. So it is an amazing class and one that we are very proud of. So this is our November curriculum. We read Ish last week, and so I have a couple pictures of what happened in classes last week. Ish is a book by Peter H. Reynolds, and it's by the same author who wrote The Dot. So it's a book about a child making art, is what it is. And he makes Ish drawings. He makes drawings that are vase-ish, vase of flowers, or flower-ish, or sun-ish. And it's for those kids that they're like, it doesn't look right, or, you know, that it doesn't look just like their thing that they're trying to draw, because we're still learning to use those motor skills. So ish drawings are what we are working on, and understanding that ish art, making it ish, is just fine. And so we also played with ink. So you can see the kids here are using Sumi ink because it is ink month for our multimedia classes, and we want to make sure that our artists are getting that. Next week, they will add to these Sumi ink portraits that they made. They will add patterns similar to our multimedia curriculum that we're doing with the big kids, and these fun pattern drawings, which we'll talk more about when we get to multimedia. They're going to add those patterns as well, and they're learning to identify patterns. We did dots and circles when we did September's curriculum with Kandinsky, and then we did lines in October when we did Mondrian. And now in our art history focus, we're looking at the art of Matisse, and we're seeing organic shapes, and we're seeing pattern. And that will continue as we get into not next week's story, but the week after, when we read Brown Bear, What Do You See? Because Eric Carle used a lot of printing and pattern making in his illustrations. So we'll talk more about that in week 3. But this week coming up, they are going to do more ink work. They're doing more pattern work. They're going to get fine point Sharpies, which is a tool that we don't usually use very often with our young kids. So they'll learn to use that ultra fine point tip, how to tickle the paper. It's a good exercise for our fingers. We're going to read Where the Sidewalk Ends by Shel Silverstein. And for those of you who are familiar with that book, I should have brought it. The illustrations in that book are ink illustrations. They're hand drawn with something that looks like a fine point Sharpie. And so they will be looking at those pictures, reading the poetry with us, and then making their own illustrations with a tool that that looks like the illustrations of Shel Silverstein. So we'll do that, and we'll add some pattern to some of our portrait work that we've been doing, and then we'll go play the in the preschool room with our creative playstations. I think I showed like maybe one video last week of the paint pendulum, but both studios do a pendulum as a station in November. It's the only time of year that we get the paint pendulum out, because it is an ordeal, but it's up for the entire month for the kids to play and explore, and it's such a neat experience. So I'll try to get some videos of that this week to share on our social media so you can see what that looks like. Maybe I'll make a reel. Maybe not. Multimedia classes. All right. So my multimedia classes, they are also doing ink. It's all ink. This picture here is actually from our, it could be second, third, it could be K1, it could be K through 3. I'm not sure. It could be either of those classes, because this is the first step in their artwork. So they are making pattern drawings. And I said I would talk a little bit more about it. So let me let me tell you, you might hear some of our instructors call these Zentangles. And Zentangle is a trademarked word. If you're familiar with Zentangling, it is a trademark. It's like when we say Kleenex versus like facial tissue, right? So we try really hard not to call them Zentangles because they technically aren't. Zentangling as a trademark is a program or has a series of steps and some guidelines and some rules. It's a form of meditative art. And it's really cool. If you're interested, we have some books in the studio actually on Zentangling. And you can totally ask your instructors around to pull some of those while you're waiting for classes and stuff. But so we usually call it just pattern drawing. When we talk to the kids about it, sometimes we say, it reminds you of kind of like adult coloring pages because it has these intricate kind of ink line things. It looks like a coloring page. So our younger kids are learning to draw these patterns. Their first step, though, is to create a composition and something to hold those patterns. So that's what this is. They took cups, just disposable cups, so we don't have to wash them, and printed. It's not printing month, but you can print with ink, and it's ink month. So they used a Sumi ink, and they printed circles. And so I brought a couple sheets of paper of some of theirs. They worked on different compositions. So like you see this one, they've got like a line, I'm going the wrong direction because it's weird on camera, a line of circles. This one here, this one's just like completely covered in circles. I love the discrepancy is not the right word. Some days my vocabulary works, you guys, and some days it doesn't. And I hate when it happens on live video, but you forgive me, right? But I love the disparity between, some of them are super light lines, and then some of these are really heavy and dark. And that's the printing process, right? That's what kind of gives you that unexpected nature. But you can see we've got different compositions happening. And they had to really think about what they wanted their composition to be and where they placed their circles. Everywhere that the circles are, they will fill with a pattern. And then you can see like where the circles overlap, there will be so this little like chunk right, my goodness, I'm gonna have to look here. This little chunk right here, right, has 1, 2, 3, which way? 4, 5 different patterns that will fill. So each section will be a different pattern. And if you're confused on what I mean by pattern, let me show you. So we've got some really great like pattern reference sheets to get their brains thinking about what a pattern is, right? I mean, like my shirt has a pattern on it. And it's something that repeats over and over and over. And we have tons of these just to give them ideas of patterns, and then they can just take it and go from there. So they spent some time last week, not only the younger kids making their like first step, but also just working through that concept. They also, like the little ones, have to learn how to use the tool, just true of all the multimedia sessions. But we have fine point Sharpies for them, the ultra fines, and they have to take care of that. So they have to learn they can't be too heavy handed or the felt tip will break. The longer you hold the felt tip on the paper, it oozes ink. And so you get a blob, right? They had to learn, like, when you, I should have brought one. Some of us, when they hold our pencil, it's straight up and down. And some of us, when we hold our pencil with our pencil grip, it's on an angle, right? And maybe it lays across our hand. Those felt point, like Sharpies, if they're at a steep angle, you've got more metal, like, because the metal nib on the page, than you do the felt tip. And so I think it doesn't work as well. So they have to learn to kind of manipulate the tool and get it almost straight up and down so that they can make those lines the way they want to. Everybody gets their own marker for the month. We actually put names on them, and they will use that marker for the month. And that way they learn to really take care of it, make sure it gets the cap on it. Because, I mean, we buy 300 new markers for the month of November, 300 new Sharpies, everybody gets one. And that way everybody takes care of theirs. So there's a lot of learning that happens, even though it's a very simple process. It's just drawing patterns, and they're going to fill it. And then I showed you last week how we finish it with the ink and with the fire. So I won't talk too much about that. Some of our classes might start that this week, just because it's easier for some of the instructors, if we have a bigger class, to split it and do half the class with the alcohol inks and the fire this week and half the class next week. The goal actually is to finish next week with the project, because we have Bring a Friend Week, the week of Thanksgiving, and we already know we'll have a bunch of absences as well. So those are my younger kids doing Zentangles. Now my older kids, they are also doing, see, and I just slipped up and said Zentangles. They are also doing pattern drawing, right? But they aren't doing geometric patterns. They are doing something that is representational, that is like a subject. And so 4th and 5th in homeschool are creating their subjects. They have to do bugs or butterflies. And then my older kids, it's a wild card. So if you're middle school, high school, you can do like whatever you want. So last week they spent time, of course, a lot of my older kids have already done this kind of project, so they understand pattern drawing and they're ready to dive in. They're like, okay, I got it. I did it last year. I got it. I know I want my subject to be this. And so they spent time just starting their composition. I pulled a couple pictures from my 6th, 7th, just to show you, like, they start in pencil, and then they have to ink their outline so that they basically get to this step, and then they'll fill in each section with a pattern. So we've got some different things happening. A lot of discussion on composition. Don't really know which way this one goes, but I absolutely adore it. A lot of talk on what makes the best composition to fill with pattern. Some of these guys, this is a really good example. Some of these guys, once they start filling with pattern, they might lose their subject. It's just way too busy and they lose it. And then we play with what's called line weights, which is adding thickness to certain lines, the most important lines, so that we can bring that subject back out. But those are all obstacles that they will meet and overcome. So that's what's happening in the older classes, 4th, 5th, middle school, high school. So 6th, 7th, 8th, 12th, and homeschool. Again, all just ink drawing. So learning to use the tool and then filling their composition with pattern. The goal is to finish next week. So they'll have class this week, they'll have class next week. We hope they all take their projects home before Thanksgiving. And then that way, the week of Thanksgiving, we can just have like Bring a Friend night and have a great time. We're going to talk more about that in housekeeping. So let's move along. Drawing. I brought drawings to share. So I told you last week that we switched week with Drawing 101, and I need more coffee. And Drawing 102 Advanced Realistic, that we switched the two, week 1 and week 2, because we were afraid that all those fall leaves were going to be like wet and gross and off the trees. And so most of my classes switched and they did leaf drawing last week. I do believe there is a Tuesday class in Plattwoods that did landscapes. So they're going to do leaf drawings this week. Anyways, but I brought you some to show. So this is, hang on, it's the anime. And there's pictures too. So you can see this is actually Miss Grace's, I think, her Thursday class. The weather was really nice that night. And since it's the 5:30 class, and we hadn't turned the clocks. It was still light outside. So they went outside and drew outside. So it was gorgeous. But you can see we started working on the contour of the leaves. This is a Drawing 101 student. And this is pretty advanced for Drawing 101. You can see we started to add values. They did a really great job getting the leaf shape. A lot of times in our beginning drawing classes, one of the things we're trying to like flip the switch on is that we draw what we see. We don't draw what we think we see. So we don't just go, oh, a leaf, and then you draw a leaf. That you actually look at that leaf and you draw that leaf. Not what I know a leaf to look like or what I know a flower to look like, but I draw that one. And I trace my eyeballs around the contour and I draw what I actually see. It's a switch that gets flipped, and it's just over and over repetitive and making them look at their subject a lot. So eyeballs on your subject more than you look at your paper. So my older kids, this is 102. So you can see we started to get a lot more values, a lot more like getting the form or the cupping action or the folding action in the leaves. Yeah, some texture and some pattern, like this one. Nope, not this one. This one's got like one that had polka dots on it and spots. You'll notice all of the leaves are for the 102s. This actually subbed this class, and they really just wanted to stick with the graphite. They had an option to go with chalk pastels if they wanted, but they chose graphite. So one of the things we're working on with them is getting their darks. So right now, if we look at this as a grayscale, we've got like the lights to the mid-tones to the almost dark, but not the dark. And so somewhere in there's got to be a dark. So for most of them, they ran out of time. Usually you work light to dark. So they'll get it. You'll get some darks up in the top one, which is great. So super awesome job on my 102s drawing leaves. It's harder than it looks. I had some that were like, I've never drawn a leaf before. Well, once you learn to draw from observation, you can draw anything you can see. All right, my 102s, or let me talk really quick on 101 and advanced realistic. So 101 and drawing 102 advanced realistic are doing the same subject. So they're going to be drawing from, I should have brought them. See, I thought I was so prepared. They're going to be drawing from photograph. Remember, our curriculum usually includes a drawing from photograph, a drawing from life. That's what this was, the leaves, like it's sitting in front of me. It's from life, drawing from life, and then drawing from imagination. So this week will be our drawing from photograph week, and they will draw fall landscapes using colored pencils. So, but the leaves, we were like zoomed in on fall, right? And now we're going to back all the way up, and we're going to look at it as a whole landscape. It'll be interesting to see how they represent their landscapes. So 102, comic and anime, totally different. They do not follow anything that 101s and advanced realistic follows. They are digging in on their character development. And so if you remember, we did like bodies and we did figure, and now we're on to like breaking down just this part of the face. And so they did heads last week, and I brought a couple of, this is the Thursday class in Liberty, because I'm in Liberty. One of these days I should go out and do this video in Flatwoods, but they did heads and just trying to get the angles, like where everything crosses. And a lot of the Liberty kids have been doing this for a while. So, they're 2 and 3 years into this curriculum, and it just spirals. So they're pretty amazing when they're doing their heads and curriculum. But you can see we started working on like, what does it look like from the top? What does it look like from the side? Some pretty good stuff. Started working on some emotions. Some of them, move ahead. We weren't really getting emotions in there, but that's okay. So lots of great stuff happening in the heads department, and they all have different styles. It's amazing at this level that you really like. I know I couldn't, because I don't hang out with this class as much, but I know Miss Grace could pull anybody's journal and be like, oh, that's so-and-so's. Oh, that's so-and-so's, just because they have such a style to them. They're characters, like they have character development that they've done. So it'll be like, this is so-and-so's characters. So really cool. Just trying to get just the face shape in at different angles. This week, they're going to work on eyes. So anime, comic, manga, whatever you want to call it, the eyes are just, they're such a big part of that type of drawing. So Miss Grace and Miss Mac and Miss Tori have a lesson that breaks down different styles of drawing eyeballs. And then as an artist, our artists will choose what their favorite ones are. And then as they start working them into like different emotions, they'll refine that. But it's eyeballs, eyes and eyeballs this month or this week. Okay. Da, 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 da. You ready for some housekeeping? I gotta drink more coffee. All right, let's talk Thanksgiving. So we're gonna have week 2 this week, except for Monday, because we've already talked about Monday's a week behind, right? Week 2 this week, and then week 3 next week, and then it's the week of Thanksgiving. So for everyone except Monday, that's your 4th week of classes. Monday people, you actually finish, you wrap up your month after Thanksgiving. So Monday people will not take their project home before Thanksgiving. You will take it home after Thanksgiving because we'll need that class to finish. Everybody else, we meet that week of Thanksgiving. Now, if you're in a Thursday class, your class meets on Wednesday. Exact same time, nothing changes. It just meets on Wednesday. If you can't come, it's okay. Okay. That week of Thanksgiving, if you are traveling, it's okay. Nobody's going to stress out about this. Okay. It is not that serious. Seriously. It is not that serious. If you miss art class that week, it is okay. We have built it in. We know we're going to be missing people. It is okay. That week is our Bring a Friend week. We finish all the projects before that, except for Monday people. Monday people, we will just take a break. We'll finish it on the next week. But everybody else, we will already be done by the time we get to Bring a Friend week. It's okay. That is a week that we are already light because it's Thanksgiving. Those evening classes, drawing, multimedia, you guys can bring a friend to class that week. We have oh, that's what this is. Hang on. Click. We have the splat wall up, we splat paint, we take pictures, we make like friendship themed art, we enjoy each other's company, and it's like our version of Friendsgiving. Okay. It's during your class time. So if you normally come Mondays at 5, then you come Mondays at 5. If you normally come Tuesdays at 6:30, then you come Tuesdays at 6:30. Okay. You come during your class time, your friend comes during your class time. If you normally come Thursday, you come Wednesday at that time. So if you're normally a Thursday 5:30 class, you come Wednesday at 5:30. Okay. If you have questions about that, you can always reach out to me. And I'm happy to work through like whatever. But if you can't come during your class time, this is the one week where we can't have people come like a different time. So I know sometimes people are like, I can't come to drawing class this Tuesday. Can I come on Thursday instead? And we're like, sure. What's one more? But this week, this coming week, when it's Bring a Friend week, we really can't because we're already doubling every class. And so we can't just add extra people. I realize that our Thursday classes who are coming on Wednesday, that a lot of you guys might be like, well, I can't come on Wednesday. I could come on Monday, but I can't come on Wednesday. And I understand that. And you're like, but I'd like to just come on Monday. This is the one week where you can't do that because our Monday classes are doubling. So Thursday classes come on Wednesday. If you can't make it, don't stress. You can always do a makeup if you don't get your project done in time. Like we have times available. Holidays are crazy and we'll get it all figured out, I promise. Okay. There is a link for Bring a Friend Week on the website. So you do have to RSVP. We have to know our head counts because we have to staff. We also get gifts for all of your friends. So for your guests, we give them a little gift bag. And we like to have the right head count for those because we hate for somebody to not get a gift. And, you know, because we're a business, we try not to make a whole bunch of extras and lose money on this. So if you could RSVP, we'd really appreciate it. The links to do that are on the website under special events. I will also put them in the email when I email this video, and they will also be in our private Facebook group. So make sure you RSVP for Bring a Friend Week. The last thing I'll talk about is semester registration. So this is coming in real fast because registration opens December 1st, which is, it is a Thursday. I don't even know. It's a Thursday. So it is the Thursday after Thanksgiving, actually. So it's 1 week after Thanksgiving. That Thursday morning is when registration opens at 9 a.m. Every link for every class will be on the website for anybody to grab. Those of you that are currently in classes, you will get a link from me emailed that has like access for you to register for your class that you are currently in. So if you currently take Drawing 102 on Tuesday nights, you will get the link Monday morning for Drawing 102 class. So that way you can sign up before it becomes public. That way you don't lose your spot. You can't, if you're in Drawing 102, be like, I think I'd like to sign up for multimedia. You won't have access to that until 9 a.m. on Thursday morning. Okay. It's just for your current class. Now, I know I have some people in my multimedia classes that are in multimedia classes as their second choice, and they would rather be in like comic drawing class. Okay. I understand that. I can't give you the link early because there's a lot of people on the wait list. But what I can do is get you signed up for what the class you are currently in. And if you get a spot on the 1st, then I will absolutely cancel or refund or whatever we need to do so that you don't have a double registration. Okay. Does that make sense? If it doesn't, reach out to me. Okay. And we'll talk about it. But what we don't want is people who are in a class right now to not have a spot come the new year when they want it. Okay. The other thing I want you guys to tell me, I just want you to come and talk to me about, is if financially that's a problem. Okay. So my current students, those of you who are currently in classes, we're registering for the next semester on December 1st or just before December 1st, right? But you still have to pay December tuition if you're a month to month. So that means you could be doubling up on December 1st with your December tuition and your January tuition. If that's a problem, I need you to come and talk to me. Because I don't want anyone to not register because they're like, well, I can't do 2 tuition payments on the 1st. Just come talk to me. Okay. I know it's crazy and it's nutty, but I don't want to lose anybody for that reason either. Okay. All right. So that's what's coming for semester registrations. I fully anticipate that by mid-December, every class that we offer will be full. Sarah and I hope to meet this week, and we're gonna see if we can figure out how to get some more drawing classes in the schedule. We're fighting with not just like building space. Like we only have so many classrooms. We need a 3rd classroom. Platwoods I could do construction on. I could build me a 3rd classroom because it's big enough, but Liberty really can't. So I'm working on it. It's a good problem to have. The other problem, or the other thing we're working through is we just need staff. So like everybody else in the world, we just need great people. We have great people, but we need more great people. And so if you know anybody, it would be awesome to teach a class. It could be 1 class a week. I don't need everybody to work full time. I mean, 1 class a week. You know, if you've got somebody that teaches art in the schools or is a stay-at-home mom and you just want to get out of the house once a week and teach a class, like I could use you. I really could. If you have an art background, you have a teaching background, you love kids and you love art, all the curriculum's provided. We would love to have you. So if you know somebody or you are somebody, there's an application on our website. We'd love to have you because we would like to add classes, but we won't do it if we don't have, like, I protect my people and I'm not going to burn them out. So we keep our class sizes really small. We potentially could add 2 spots to just about every class, but I won't do it without more people to support my team and take care of them, because you think the holidays are stressful. I think the holidays are stressful. They think the holidays are stressful. So we're not going to just keep piling stuff on to make more money. It's just not how it works. So appreciate your guys' patience and help with that. All right. Whew, that was more than I wanted to get over. Is there anything else I need to tell you? I don't think so. I think that's it. So I hope everybody has a absolutely wonderful week as we barrel through the end of this school year. If you need me, you know where to find me. Send me a Facebook message, an Instagram message, or an email. Best way, right? Those are the 3 ways. And I'm happy to help or chat with you. If you want to talk to me on the phone, just send me a message and let me know. And, we'll set it up. So I hope everybody has a great one, and I will chat with you guys soon.